is a stuffed dog.
Okay.
Nobody sees it. It's invisible.
Dun, dun,
Department of
dun,
Agri-Failure?
dun.
No, Agriculture.
That's it, boys and girls.
Hemp for freedom.
Victory. You are watching episode 3 of Weed Wars, which is basically what we're calling our book report on Martin Lee's book. That's right, Smoke Signals. And that's it right there. And because we're going to dispel all the mythology surrounding this very beneficent weed.
Good for you.
And before we go, we'll have a brief history lesson for our boys and girls out there as to what used to be legal.
We love this part.
Yeah, this is my favorite part.
Things I want.
Yeah, maltine with coca wine. Yep, that was right. You could buy cocaine over the counter.
Better.
You know, my buddy was talking to an old lady in North Troy, an older lady, excuse me, Rita, I'm sorry. And she used to go down to her father's store and get cocaine tooth drops. Yep, there we are right there. And that's coca wine too, Metcalf's. And here we are, Lloyd's. Cocaine tooth drops, that's right. You could get them.
They work.
And here's a favorite of the staff, Bear, heroin.
Love the Bear.
Yeah, you get your Bear heroin. And, oh yeah, of course, you know, right up in, and even though they knew in 1946 that cigarettes caused lung cancer, that's right, the AMA said it was okay until 1964 when they were forced
Ronald didn't care.
Reagan didn't care, he took the chain. Stickney and pores, paregoric, that's right, opium and whatever. And here's how Mom picked up with Blatt's beer. That's right. This was from before Prohibition when they prohibited alcohol in 1920.
Give your baby some beer, it'll cheer him up.
13 years. Here's Desi and Lucy selling cigarettes too. That's right.
No cigarette hangover. I often suffered from that.
Yeah, I hate them butt hangovers, damn it. And
think
then
you just
last
light
but
up
not
another
least,
one.
when you get to be our age and get senile agitation, that's right, they got Thorazine for us old folks. Get away from me, you demons.
I have stories to tell about Thorazine. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Did my share.
Oh, well, you know, they used to give them all for bad acid trips, too, Andy.
God, I never had one of those.
Yeah, well...
A lot of good ones,
yeah.
apparently.
Oh, and speaking of which, seeing as it's this close to Ishtar, let's see if we can get one of our servants to bring in our leftovers. Where's our indentured servitudes? There we are. So hard to get good help, Andy, especially when you're King of Fallujah.
You have to marry them or something.
Oh, there we are. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, oh great Ishtar person.
Yeah, it's there's your producer stamp, right? You can get a producer marijuana. Make sure you get your stamp. It says to go right down to your USDA
Get the
agent.
one with the H, not the J.
Yeah. Oh, what's for dinner, Andy?
Ah, big dick.
Nothing like a hot pile of dick. That's right. Yeah.
Cheney pie.
Cheney pie. Dick
Cheney
won't
roast.
say you wrong. Have
Dick
some
roast.
head. Have some head.
Yeah.
Dick head.
Better than Rumsfeld. Not as chewy or dumb.
Yeah, he'll get you into a jam you can't get out of.
Yep.
And so anyways.
On to the tiny print.
Yeah, on to the tiny print. Last episode we left off with the studies. And, you know, we made some signs for the studies for our local rump swab politicians because evidently they don't get it right, Andy. Either that or they don't read.
No.
I know one of them can't spell.
Reading's hard.
Yeah.
His grammar ain't all that either.
Oh, man. Yeah, like Ponzi Peak. But anyways.
Oh, no.
Let's start with the 1894 Indian Hemp Commission. That's right, Andy. The 7-volume, 3,000-page set said there was no physical, mental, or moral injury to long-term use of ganja.
To Indians or
yeah, to
everyone?
Indians. Well, I guess they had whitey smoking it too. And in 1944, the LaGuardia report, which drove Anslinger crazy, Harry J. Anslinger, the head of the Bureau of Narcotics and Drugs, the LaGuardia said it was not addictive, didn't cause insanity, made no sexual deviance, or didn't cause violence or any criminal misconduct.
No.
No.
Unfortunately.
Then back over to England again. They had the 1968 Wooten report. said that it was less dangerous than pills and alcohol and did not lead to harder drugs. That means it was not a stepping stone.
So in 1968, it was no longer a gateway drug?
Yeah, in 68.
But this is 2013, it's a gateway drug.
Well, according to some of our local politicians and cops, in 1972, the Schaefer Commission here in the United States said that this drove Nixon absolutely crazy. No physical or psychological harm. No brain birth defects, no danger of public safety either, Andy.
Nope.
But, you know.
I think Nixon just put on the front.
Yeah, we have an equation for you here, boys and girls. That's right. Booze equals death. It's pretty, yeah, the legal liquid heroin will.
Pretty dyslexic. Ezub equals head.
Yeah, that'll do it to you. And so anyways, Harry, the head of the Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, Harry Anslinger, we told you about him.
The guy piece of work.
He was a real
Name your children that, Anslinger.
Yeah.
I was a gunslinger.
In 1968, CBS cites Army intelligence reports saying nearly 1 in 6 protesters against the war and the weed smokers were undercover agents. Oh, man. And Cyril Payne, he was in the FBI, used weed for training, and they pigged out in the dining hall. Yeah, and the Supreme Court's ruled in '69 that the Marijuana Tax Act, that would be that stamp, saying you needed the stamp to get the weed, but you couldn't get the weed until you had the stamp. Timothy Leary brought it all the way to the Supreme Court in U.S. v. Leary, and they said, yeah, it's double jeopardy. It violates your right to self-incrimination and the Fifth Amendment. But go figure, it's still illegal. Meh.
Yep.
Meh.
No.
But anyways, so brings us up into the 70s. And we told you about the Schaefer report in 1972. And Nixon, when before the report came out, Nixon said, and I don't use this word that often, Nixon said, I want a goddamn strong statement about weed, one that just tears the ass out of them.
Yeah.
And
they cooked one up, didn't they?
Yeah. Nixon, as a matter of fact, Nixon said something about the blacks, too.
I'm sure he loved them.
Yeah, he hated blacks and Jews, man. He made Henry Kissinger get down on his knees and pray with him. And get down on your knees, Jew boy, he says to Henry Kissinger. And he was praying drunk into the portrait of Abe Lincoln or some damn thing. But anyways, so in the Schaefer Commission, 72, and then the guy, Dr. Todd Mikiura, he was contacted by Dr. Van Sim, who was a doctor at the Edgewood Army Chemical Warfare Division. And they had tried, they were using weed as kind of a knockout drug, you know, on people to try and put them to sleep. The Army came up with this idea. Go figure. It's military intelligence. It's an oxymoron, but hey, you know.
Did it work?
Well, no, actually, it made some of them giggle. It made a lot of them hungry and a few of them sleepy, but it didn't do anything to paralyze them.
Oh, they were hoping for paralysis?
Yeah.
Total submission?
Yeah.
Death weed.
But what they did find out, some of these soldiers, Andy, had epilepsy.
And it stopped the epileptic seizures?
And it stopped their epileptic seizures and everything.
Well, that pissed them off.
Yeah, so this Dr. Van Sim got a hold of Dr. Mikiura and told him it was the most potent anti-epileptic known to medicine. And that was in
cool.
1972 or 3.
All right.
So anyways, Nixon, I wish I had this picture. Maybe Patty can put it in, but I doubt it. There's a picture of Elvis getting his DEA medal. Because in 1973, Nixon, our glorious president, changed the Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs. Oh, there we are. We'd have to be king of the Taliban for a day here. He changed the Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs into the Drug Enforcement Agency.
It's fun to be at the DEA.
You know, and funny.
Yeah, man.
I was watching these fascists, right? The Chamber of Fascists over the weekend. They had this thing. And the Chamber of Fascists, look them up online, boys and girls. The Chamber of Commerce and the DEA symbols are almost identical.
No coincidence there.
Yeah, kind of like the upside-down stars on the Republican donkey for the past 10 years.
There you go.
Elephant for the past 10 years.
Pentagrams.
Inverted pentagram, but we won't get into that. And so anyways,
Devil Mormons.
Page 134, the CIA was running dope in Vietnam.
Well, yeah, somebody had to.
Yeah.
Shucks. That's one of the Nixon's smartest moves ever, is he bought the heroin crop every year for 3 years running. It probably was the biggest thing that helped end the war.
Yeah, Nixon, a heavy drinker, drew a rather fuzzy distinction between marijuana and alcohol. A person doesn't drink to get drunk, said Nixon. A person drinks to have fun, while a person smokes pot to get high, Nixon told a friend. And he had this thing called how can I put this politely? Screwing.
Screwing the rat.
Yeah, rat screwing. And there was they worked with the plumbers. So they had the plumbers and the rat screwers who plotted to kidnap radical protesters, incapacitate individuals, giving them LSD surreptitiously. And which
made them happier.
Prompted Deputy Attorney General William Kleinstein envisioned a time when... Kleindienst, that's it. Envisioned a time when concentration camps might be required for ideological criminals.
You saw Billy Kleindienst. He needs a concentration camp because that's the only way he's going to get any friends.
That would be now, boys.
Put some wire around him. Yeah, he was pathetic, man.
The camps are on the way. And so the plumbers, Nixon's plumbers honed their skills by sabotaging the peace movement. And
awesome job.
During the 72 Democratic Convention in Miami, Nixon arranged for a plane to fly overhead with a large banner that read, "Peace, Promiscuity, vote McGovern."
Okay, then. The Cubans were going to vote for McGovern anyway.
Yeah, right.
You know that was going to happen.
Nixon, himself addicted to sleeping pills and amphetamines along with the booze.
And bourbon.
Yeah, staggered through the White House in a daze, talking to portraits of past presidents. And
well, he didn't sleep much.
He became increasingly unstable, a walking box of short circuits, they said, raising serious doubts as to whether he was the right guy to have his finger on the nuclear trigger. If the president had his way, said Henry Kissinger, there would be nuclear war each week.
No, yeah, right, Henry. Actually, that's a complete, Nixon was pretty good with that bomb button. You know how to work it.
Yeah, during the Vietnam War, the CIA, a.k.a. Air America and stuff, that might have been later, allied itself with various tribal warlords in the Golden Triangle. Mm-hmm. And they provided them with airplanes, choppers, weapons, and increased their poppy acreage. In the late 60s, early 70s, more than 80% of the heroin sold on America's streets came from Southeast Asia. Now it's from Afghanistan.
Yeah, And wonder how that works out. Wherever we have a war, we get our heroin from there.
Yeah, it's funny, And Bush said we were addicted to oil. Boy, was he wrong.
Well, hash oil. It's hard to smoke, though.
Yeah, you got to dab it.
No.
And so anyways...
Bush wasn't right about anything, was he?
Allen Ginsberg got wind of the CIA collaboration with the big-time heroin traffickers. He started to investigate. He spoke with several former operatives who confirmed that the South Vietnamese officials were profiting from the heroin business.
Yeah.
He shared his findings with Al McCoy, who published a book called The Politics of Heroin in Southeast Asia, who meticulously documented the sordid history of the U.S. government involvement in illegal opium trafficking. When Ginsberg tried to interest the New York Times in the story, foreign affairs columnist C.L. Sulzberger told him that he was full of beans.
No.
Yet Sulzberger, whose family owned and operated the Times, apologized to Ginsberg years later. Indeed, you were right, he acknowledged in a letter dated April 11th, 1978.
It's amazing how you could break down the walls of security and secrecy so easily.
Yeah, but the New York Times wouldn't run with a story, even though they had meticulously Patty.
They don't run with any stories.
Yeah.
Are you there? Yeah. Okay, then.
And it's funny, too, Andy, because the Times had that Judith Miller working for her, and Cheney would leak her some crap on a Friday. She'd blab it out in the New York Times on Saturday, and then Cheney would quote the damn New York Times on the Sunday morning talk shows and say, yeah, there's weapons of mass destruction. We know there are, right next to the heroin poppies.
Pretty circular way of doing things.
Yeah.
No proof.
To this day, Judith Miller is still a commentator on Fox News. She should have been tarred and feathered and run out of town on a rail.
Well,
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Nobody's held up to any standard of performance anymore.
No, you never know.
I got caught lying, oh well.
Oh, man.
I'll lie next week.
Unbelievable. So anyways, we told you about the Schaefer Commission, and And in 1973 also, along with the DEA, they created the National Institutes of Drug Abuse.
To learn how?
Yeah. And in 74, they had the Eastland hearings where they cited the two-lane monkey study. Have you ever seen that study where they had made the monkeys wear gas masks?
Oh, you can't give a monkey a gas mask.
And they made them smoke dope. Well, the monkeys couldn't get any oxygen and they got brain damage. It wasn't from the smoke. It wasn't from the weed.
It was from the lack of oxygen?
Yeah, it was from the lack of oxygen.
That will give you brain damage.
And they never replicated that study. Yet the Eastland hearings tried to bring them up. Oh, sure.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. And anyways, so they spent billions of dollars. In 1974, the Medical College of Virginia, this is what I was telling you about in 74, that was the year I graduated from high school. The Medical College of Virginia did a study, and they found that marijuana, hemp, THC, whatever's in it, because there's 600 compounds along with the THC. They don't know what all these things do because the government won't let us study the stuff, you know. So anyways, the study cited that slowed the growth of cancer.
Oh yeah, it does that. It's true.
Yeah, well, it's funny. They never mentioned it though, Andy, right?
Wow.
Now, why would a drug that slowed cancer, it was a U.S. government, you know, it's slowed the growth of lung cancers, breast cancers, and virus-induced leukemia in laboratory mice, and prolonged their lives by as much as 36%.
Wow, you don't want that.
No,
increase your life by a third.
Bad weed.
Slow down the progress of the evil cancers.
Bad weed. Bad.
Even, reduce viral pneumonia? Okay, then.
Leukemia, yeah.
Leukemia, okay.
Virus-induced leukemia. And
that's pretty good.
The only news story that mentioned the study, the Washington Post reported that the active chemical agent marijuana may also suppress the immune reaction that causes the rejection of organ transplants in 1974.
So if they'd given marijuana to more of these transplant patients, they would have lived longer and they made the transition more easily?
Well,
that's a heinous, horrible thing.
What a horrible drug.
Yeah, we got to stop that.
What a horrible drug.
Yeah.
And the side effects, euphoria.
Oh, God, no more. 9 to euphoria.
Yeah, euphoria is an adverse event. Damn it.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
I think that's like next to joy. You can't have joy. It's a German thing.
It's, oh man. So anyways, a quarter century had passed before Guzman of the Complutense University in Madrid and the Hebrew University in Jerusalem rediscovered the cancer-fighting qualities of THC and other cannabinoids.
Okay, that's another reason to hate the Jews.
Oh, yeah.
They believe in marijuana.
So anyways, Dr. Todd McCurry was convinced that if therapeutic-oriented marijuana studies had not been discouraged by the federal authorities, numerous medical uses would already have been validated. In 73, McCurry, Dr. Todd, as he was known to his friends, participated in a National Institute of Drug Abuse sponsored conference that brought together the leading marijuana scientists, including Michelin. And then the following year, Robert Randall, that would be this guy here, he was the first guy to get medical marijuana, Patty.
Little picture.
Patty, thank you.
Oh, he's a hippie.
Yeah, he was a professor. He was the first guy to get medical weed for glaucoma, and he got some of that government weed from Mississippi.
Eye disease that everybody uses it for. It works great.
Randall tried surgery. It didn't help. Neither did any of the pharmaceuticals, which all had adverse side effects.
Huge.
His eyesight continued to deteriorate. His prospects were dim. In 1973, while smoking a joint his friend had given him, after a few puffs, he noticed that the halos he saw around the streetlights had disappeared.
That quick?
Yeah, that quick. It dropped the intraocular pressure in your eyes.
Yeah.
That quick. But it's bad weed, bad.
5 years ago, was it? No, more than that. 2000. I knew a saxophone player, same thing, had glaucoma severely in his mid-20s. Yeah, one joint, oodles better than all the narcotics they gave him, and the side effects were just heinous.
And so anyways, Randall gets the government weed, and so they kept hemming and hawing. They finally gave it to him, but it wasn't a steady supply. So he grows a few plants in his backyard in 1975. He comes back for vacation. His house is ransacked. There's a warrant on his table and a note from the D.C. police saying he turned in. So he was busted. But instead of rolling over and, paying a fine for the misdemeanor, he became the Rosa Parks of the medical pot movement.
Good for him.
And yeah, he was the first one to charge a medical necessity defense, saying that in theory, breaking a law is justified when obeying it would cause greater harm.
That's a tricky defense.
Yeah, but damn it, somebody has to do it.
Yeah.
Then I put the damn Chronicle article away. Oh,
Which
no, I
one?
don't. The weed thing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, here it is. This is from our viewers outside of the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. Here's the Chronicle from last week. Yeah, it says, what to say? Alderman dispensary against the dispensary.
Well, yeah, we were planning about that.
Yeah, we yammered about that, but not on this show. So we're going to tell you they wanted to. In case we didn't, we'll bring
It's
it back.
worth
again.
hammering again.
Yeah. Last year, the legislature in Vermont authorized 4 dispensaries for pot patients. Alderman Richard Bayrow, who once worked as a customs officer, said he's about the dispensary because he believes marijuana is page 25 drum.
Gateway drug!
He believes marijuana is a gateway drug.
Gateway drug!
Now, evidently...
Gateway. That's like straight out of dark ages, dude.
He hadn't read the Schaefer Commission, Andy, or the hemp report, or
He's
the
probably
Wilson report.
opposed to phlogiston, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the vapors.
And Mayor Manette said his position is the same as the Mayor Rutland, which, like Newport, has made a problem with prescription drug abuse. He worried that prescriptions be stolen and marijuana get in the wrong hands. Never mind that the doctors don't write you a prescription for it. Never mind that you get a state-issued card. The mayor, in all of his blissful ignorance, says, you don't want somebody to get the wrong prescription.
Yeah, once those dispensaries land, the weed will be rampant, as opposed to now, where it's impossible to find.
Yeah, man,
Nobody has any.
Can't find that stuff
That's
anywhere.
awesome, dude.
Yeah, you're going to have to join the military and go guard it in Afghanistan.
If you rolled over on that Formica and looked like anybody around the perimeter of that room, they all have it.
Yeah.
You're sitting in 90 gateways, right?
Speaking of which, in the background, we're showing you U.S. soldiers growing weed, Patty.
It's
Patty,
a small sign again.
Patty.
There you go.
Here it is.
Invisible.
The Vermont Guard,
Protecting foreign weed.
Yeah,
yes.
we gotta. And also, don't forget the Boda Patrol, where we ignore the farm illegals to store up the border patrol illegals. Yeah, that's right. Who are you? What are you doing here? Where do you live?
Thank God for the Border Patrol. We have not had a war with Canada because of them.
Yeah, since 1812, right?
Oh, the bloodthirsty battles that they have averted up on that border.
If you ever get a chance, rent Canadian
Derby
bacon.
line.
Or get Canadian bacon. It's a John Candy movie, and it is funny. So anyways, Randall was the first medical necessity. He was and they tore open his house and they took his plants and
put it all over.
So anyways, to prepare for his case, he underwent 10 days of testing out at UCLA. What's UCLA stand for, Andy?
University of California at Los Angeles, which is in Westwood.
Yeah, who are those dummies? What do they do there, Andy?
Not much. Play a little round ball. Wish they were USC.
Yeah, so... So anyways...
You want to be Trojans.
Dr. Hepler at UCLA saw that large doses of smoked marijuana lowered his intraocular pressure in a safe range. In a sworn affidavit, the doctor asserted that without the marijuana, Randall would go blind. So during a 2-day non-jury trial in D.C. Superior Court, Randall argued that any sane person would break the law to save his or her own eyesight.
Yeah.
And the judge's name, drum roll please, James A. Washington.
Washington?
Judge James A. Washington agreed, and Randall was acquitted.
Okay, then. Good judge.
Widely publicized verdict established an important legal precedence. Marijuana, medical evidence, here it is. Medical evidence suggests that the prohibition of marijuana is not well-founded, Judge Washington wrote in a carefully crafted decision, adding, reports from the Schaefer Commission, the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare have concluded there is no scientific evidence of any harm attendant upon the use of marijuana. And according to the most recent HEW study, research has failed to establish any substantial physical or mental impairment caused by marijuana. Reports of chromosome damage, reduced immunity, psychosis are unconfirmed. Actual evidence is to the contrary.
Who had the nuts to say that was going to happen?
What does to the contrary mean, Andy?
It's not true.
Yeah.
No, it's an absolute lie.
It's just the opposite, exactly,
To the contrary, yeah. All the wrong stuff is not true.
Yeah, so everything they're telling you is a lie, boys and girls. It's a lie.
Come on, you know it's a lie anyway.
Well,
Hello,
see,
people.
you and I know everything you know is wrong. See, that's why we're doing this show. You and I know it, but we have to break out the evidence to show these people so that when some local rump swab like these guys get up and say stupid crap, you can say, no, that's not true. According to the Indian Hemp Commission, according to the LaGuardia report, according to the Wooten report, according to the Schaefer Commission, they all say what you're saying is a lie.
Dinosaurs need to stop crapping on my lawn.
Yeah, they're going to ruin the lake.
You know, because that's as true as the stuff there, gateway drug. Come on, man, you know.
Well, these people are insane. They're either lying, they're intentionally lying, or they're just insane. So,
You know.
So
know
we're
where to
stuck
put
in
it.
the 70s here. 1975, the New England Journal of Medicine. Now, what are those guys, Andy?
There's doctors and stuff.
Yeah, the New England Journal of Medicine. They must be idiots.
Totally idiotic.
You were the idiots they told you us about.
me
And we were
guess.
the 7 cities of gold: Phoenix, Las Vegas, Tucson.
Phoenix is god-awful awesome.
Yeah, the New England Journal of Medicine study showed that weed, it took care of nausea, vomiting, and depression. And yet there's 1 out of 8, depending on your figures, either 1 out of 8 or 1 out of 4, 1 out of 10 Americans is on Prozac or some other form of antidepressant.
Fabulous. Yeah, and it's getting in our water supply.
With all the attendant side effects, yes, in levels so dangerous that it's ruining the hits. It's
These
showing
morons
up in the
take
water
so much of
testing.
it, they pee it out halfway unused.
Yeah, because it's called bioavailability, boys and girls.
So
And,
you'll be taking Prozac without your own knowledge soon enough.
well, you know,
Eat a
with
wet vegetable.
with the bad roads on the way in, Andy, I was thinking about this because of the whiz test. And you know, the whiz test, I'm sure our founding fathers would have said, and if they asked George Washington to piss in a cup before he got a job, what do you think Washington would have said?
You would have pissed all over the cup, the table, the door, the guy giving him the cup.
If you asked Thomas Jefferson to piss in a cup, what do you think he would have done, Andy?
Oh, he would have pissed up in your face and not even tried to hit the cup.
If you asked Ben Franklin and you told him the only way he's going to get a minimum wage, no benefit job is to piss in this cup first, what do you think Ben Franklin would have done?
He would have
Andy?
blasted you in the face with a musket and said, damn this.
Yeah.
And none of his friends would have even, he would have had, yeah.
None dare call it treason for a
None
reason.
dare call it treason.
So anyways,
they'd
Robert,
flip on
this
this
guy
stuff.
Randall, he made it his mission to help everybody else by giving them weed. And he said there are sick people to save. And
No, that's wrong.
yeah,
It's a gateway drug.
it's a
Don't save
gateway
people.
drug, yeah.
Don't save people.
So they
no
gave,
saving
he was
them.
getting 300 government joints a month.
Cool.
Yeah. So
A
anyways,
month?
yeah.
That ain't bad.
So then here we go with the NIDA studies again. In the early 70s, the NIDA sponsored a 3-year Jamaican study for
Good
chronic
place to do it.
consumption of the Jamaicans. I guess the Jamaicans have a fondness for weed, Andy. I've never been there. What's it like? Have you
It's
been
pretty
there?
amazing. Oh, yeah. It's a pretty amazing
Tell
place.
us about Jamaica, Andy.
Jamaica is actually a country that has decided to contain themselves with their own microeconomy. They grow natural foods naturally. They encourage their own economy to prosper within itself because Reagan and Edward Seaga really tried to trash them. Oh, and by the way, they have the top 10 runners out of the top 10 runners in the world are Jamaican. So, you know, America's way down the list. Go figure. So,
And so they sponsored, the NIDA sponsored a Jamaican study to try and find out what chronic consumption. And so they had the anthropologists who supervised the report were named Vera Rubin and Lambros Komitas found that cannabis was not toxic to mind or body, and that the ganja users drank much, much less alcohol than the others. They had lower levels of alcoholism and the lowest levels of alcoholism in the whole Caribbean.
Yep.
And the NIDA did other studies. Well, this is page 147. Did other studies in the Caribbean also, and
This is a stuffed dog.
Costa Rica. Let's see, Costa Rica. That's where all the CIA agents retire, isn't it?
Yeah,
Andy?
it's a good place for them.
Yeah. And in Costa Rica, they did.
Retired here.
Yeah. Well, some
Only
of
the ones that still work. You know,
yeah.
that fake retirement.
Yeah, once you break free, I guess you can. They let you loose to cut you loose to Costa Rica, and you can farm bananas. So they studied weed in Costa Rica and hashish in Greece. In Greece, Andy.
Good. That's
No
a good
wonder
place.
those deadbeats can't pay back Goldman Sachs.
No, that's not the reason. If they sold the weed, they would actually have money.
Yeah, the hashish, damn it.
Can't sell it because
No, you can't do that. So anyways, they found, the NIDA found that there was no palpable harm and no difference between the smokers and non-smokers. And then they downplayed the results. So they did another Jamaican study, and they find that they had better babies.
Oh no, healthy babies.
Healthier
That's
babies.
gotta stop. You gotta stop with the healthy babies, the curing blindness, the reducing cancer and leukemia. That's just gotta stop.
Yeah, so get this. During the 80s, Melanie Dreher and her colleagues at the University of Massachusetts Nursing Education Department, those would be dummies too, right?
Yeah, nurses don't know
Idiots at
nothing.
UMass, man. They're retarded.
Okay then.
They went down to study the health, evaluate the health of Jamaican infants and children whose mothers ingested ganja during pregnancy and continue to use cannabis while breastfeeding. So many of the Jamaican women smoke ganja to quell morning sickness, lessen the labor pains, speed up the birth process by facilitating contractions.
Yeah.
All of the mothers considered the effects of marijuana on nausea and fatigue to be good for themselves and their infants, Dreher reported. Jamaican women claimed that smoking and drinking ganja was good for the mother and baby because it relieved the nausea of pregnancy, increased the appetite, gave them the strength to work, and helped them relax and sleep at night. And the older women recommended that newborns be washed with ganja leaves. And cannabis was sometimes added to baby's milk or juice to ease infant distress and help babies sleep. And Jamaican mothers prepared ganja teas and tonics for their children to take to make them smarter and stronger, the U.S. researchers told. Some of the Jamaican mothers drank marijuana tea to alleviate postpartum depression.
Well, that or you could slaughter your baby and put it in the backseat of a car.
Yeah, better to just
Texans.
drive them into a pond or something, you know?
Susan Smith.
So, in her NIDA study, the
She didn't
Dreher
smoke any weed.
matched 30 cannabis-using pregnant women by age and socioeconomic of 30 pregnant non-users. Her team used several standard tested measurements, compared the course and, neonatal, blah, 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 outcomes. And the ganja moms and their kids did not appear to be harmed by the weed exposure, and there were no physical anomalies, abnormalities, no cognitive deficits, no neonatal complications, nor was there any discernible disparities between the 3-day-old babies and mothers who used weed and the 3 years non-responding ones, exposed ones. And it gets better, boys and girls.
Well,
it
the
gets
3
better.
fastest men in the world, like I said, are all Jamaican.
Dreher was surprised to discover that after 1 month, the babies of the mothers who used ganja throughout their pregnancies were actually healthier, more alert, and less fussy than 1-month-old infants whose mothers didn't take weed.
Well, fussiness,
Yeah, well,
That's
that's
a
hard to
stress
measure,
Not really.
Well, I don't know. These people are ignorant. They're nurses, Andy. What do they know?
Yeah.
They're from University of Massachusetts, Andy. What do they know?
Massachusetts, not known for its intellect or its
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, they're flatlanders, right, Andy? Yeah.
John Adams.
Off-worlders. They're
Sam
off-worlders.
Adams. Ooh,
Yeah,
the
we had
Kennedys.
President Calvin
Oh my
Coolidge.
God.
Eh.
Yes, indeed.
So anyways, the test results For 1-month-old infants whose mothers ingested ganja while breastfeeding were even more striking. Heavily exposed babies were most socially responsible, more autonomically stable than babies not exposed through weed through their mother's milk. Alertness was higher, motor and autonomic systems were more robust, they were less irritable, less likely to demonstrate imbalance of tone, needed less examiner facilitation than the neonates of non-using mothers. When all the children were tested at ages 4 and 5, Dreyer's team found absolutely no difference between the children of weed moms and the children of non-smokers, non-users.
I think non-smokers are probably boring.
Yeah.
They're probably dull.
Yeah, they could probably color within the lines better. They'd probably conform better. They'd probably be better in the school-to-prison program.
They'll be accountants.
Yeah, they'd be accountants.
Yes. More susceptible to homosexuality.
Oh, yeah. The idea that marijuana was safe in pregnancy to mother and child and it might actually confer benefits was blasphemous to the keepers of the NIDA.
Oh, no.
The findings cut against the grain, you know, let alone that midwives in medieval Europe were also well acquainted and said that those women who have cramps in the womb, for them hemp should be burned and held to the nose, according to Tabernomatus, recommended in 1564. But what did they know?
1564, yeah. They didn't know how to birth babies then.
No, he knew nothing about nothing.
Thank God for the stork back then.
And yeah, so anyways, John and Jane, you do pregnancy, oh my God, you know, and it showed no negative impact. And even before the government was forced to acknowledge that weed's utility for controlling glaucoma, American midwives had begun to resurrect the age-old practice of hemp-assisted childbirth.
No.
Yeah.
Americans were born with the assistance of hemp?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And it goes back to the late 60s, and a veteran from Haight-Ashbury named Ina Mae Gaskin. She was the woman most responsible for the home birth movement. And she recognized that weed had worked for hyperemesis gravidarum, which is a severe morning sickness, and frequent vomiting and malnutrition, which causes weight loss during pregnancy, Andy.
That's no good.
Yeah. No, you want them barefoot and puking, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and don't let them leave the house.
Vomiting's better than not vomiting. Pain is better than...
Anyways, the possibility that a woman could have a painless labor became a fixation of Doc Holmes, wonderkind of MIT. And anyways, so
MIT, they're a bunch of dorks.
Yeah, they're idiots too.
God.
And what the heck was it in ancient ancient Israel?
Oh, not the Bible people.
Yeah, the Bible people.
The Bible people did weed?
In 1993, the year before Dreyer's controversial Jamaican report was published in the journal Pediatrics, archaeologists uncovered evidence of a young woman using hashish to alleviate labor pains in ancient Israel. Additional archaeological and written records attest to the use of cannabis as widespread cross-culture remedy for various OBGYN problems. In the 16th century BC, an Egyptian papyrus noted that cannabis was being used during the birthing process. And an old Chinese herbal text prescribed hemp seed to hasten delivery and promote lactation for suckling infants.
No, you don't want breast milk. No, you want those things to dry up so they can have formula.
Yeah.
Similac, things like that.
The crap that they give you.
Stir in some can of powder.
Yeah. Drink the cow's milk with the pus and hormones and antibiotics. That's actually better for your baby.
So Moses was at the gateway, ushering people through.
That's it.
Okay, then. That's why they hate the Jews, because the Jews like weed.
The Jews like weed. Go
okay,
figure.
Then. At least okay.
Anyways, so that brings us up until the Reagan era. Now, we briefly touched on Reagan.
Just say no.
Yeah, just say no to drugs and alcohol. And
you can't say no, ask my son.
Yeah, and then
He'll
suddenly
help you out.
It became just say no to drugs. And they dropped the alcohol.
No,
Well, because, Reagan liked that booze and tobacco money. And never mind that Patty Davis said her mother was hooked on tranquilizers.
No, well.
What does Patty Davis know about her own mother?
Ask about her brother. Her brother was skilled.
So in 1982, a 6-year National Academy of Sciences. Now, what are they, Andy?
Idiots all.
The National Academy of Sciences.
They know nothing.
Report showed no convincing evidence of brain damage or decreased fertility from weed.
Obviously, they didn't study hard enough.
Yeah, and Reagan ignored that study.
Well, he ignored about everything.
Yeah.
His family, everybody.
A 6-year study from the National Academy of Sciences. And in 1984, on the Comprehensive Crime Control Act, they raised federal penalties in the seizure of assets for drugs and drug dealers. Not for rapists, not for murderers, not for kidnappers, but suddenly every cop on the planet...
Can't take a rapist's house. Where is he going to hide his rape business?
Yeah, you can't take his van or his
he needs his
robot.
basement for his prisoners.
Duct tape,
Chains.
Yeah.
There's no gateway there.
There's no gateway there.
Either you are or you aren't.
So they spent $100 million on drug prevention and stuff in 1981.
Well spent.
Do you know how much it was just 6 short years later, Andy?
Way too much.
It went from $100 million in 1981 to $1 billion in 1987.
Worthless money.
Yeah, the war on drugs. Damn it, it's a gateway drug.
It is, and thanks to that billion, there are no drugs anymore anywhere.
That's it.
They won.
Y'all on pharmaceuticals now. That's right.
Nobody has
it's all
nothing.
Good. Yeah.
Everyone does what they're supposed to.
It's all good. Just take
Nothing
your
bad
oxy.
ever happens
Sit down.
now.
Shut up. Take your Ritalin. Oh man.
Ritalin leads to heroin.
Now here's some of the stuff. These are called off-label promotions. This is some of the stuff that has killed people over the years, Patty.
It's a little tiny
Patty.
screen.
Patty.
She's probably in another room doing other things.
Patty.
Patty. Hello. Where were you?
Oh, anyways, here's some of the off-label promotions. Anti-seizure medications for pain like Neurontin and gabapentin. Fen-Phen, they banned that. Redux, they banned
Fen-Phen
that.
killed you like 80 different ways.
Yeah, Durac, Bextra, look at it all. Zomax.
Those had commercials though. Celebrex, Celebrex. Had a song.
Yeah,
Celebrex.
it was great stuff.
Dance to the music.
Until it wasn't, right?
Well, the FDA makes mistakes once in a while. Or is it like all the time?
The time, yeah, like with the NC Bio thing. In 1985, the Supreme Court ruled that nobody had the right to privacy, no students. So suddenly, in 1985, all your rights as a student left. They could search your person, your locker, your dorms, strip search the kids. And even though Judge William Rehnquist was hooked on Placidils, he was a Placidil addict.
Nah, he was a pretty crazy guy.
Yeah, did you know that, Patty?
He was wackadoodle. He was
Yeah.
wackadoodle.
He used to come up here and
Oh,
say,
yeah, Greensboro.
in Greensboro, yeah.
Yep.
And he used to talk at the Civil War roundtable meetings in between schnoring.
Oh, I dealt with his people.
Yeah.
He was a Nixonite. Nixon picked him.
Yeah, Nixon appointee. And he was hospitalized, and they gave him the prescription for Placidils in 1971, and he was hospitalized for some kind of whatever. And while he was in the hospital, Andy, they stopped him in the hospital lobby in his pajamas. He tried to escape, fearing the CIA was out to get him.
Thank God he was our Chief Justice for a long time after that.
Yeah, and he ruled that a 40-year sentence in Virginia for a small amount of weed, that would be U.S. v. Davis, and it was okay, but nobody ever mentions that Davis was married to a white woman.
Okay.
So it wasn't miscegenation, right, Andy?
No.
Now,
Nope, not at all.
That's another thing for you kids. When I was a kid, and Andy was a kid, he's a couple years younger than me. When I was a kid, gambling was illegal.
Yeah.
You couldn't have no lottery, no Powerball, no nothing. You
Nope.
had to go see a dirty bookie in some dark alley.
Yep.
And
Play
make
the
deal.
numbers.
And
Go
LS,
to Vegas.
yeah, oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
Nobody could go to Vegas.
Everybody knew that wasn't rigged, right?
Never been rigged. They never deal off the bottom or seconds or any of
No, hell no. Harry Reid's as honest as the day is long.
that. Yeah, you know he is.
And, excuse me, and LSD was legal until I was 10 years old. And yeah.
Yeah.
But
Didn't save any though, did you?
Yeah, well, my buddy's got some in the freezer. We'll talk after the show.
Yay!
I think it's
You can
turned
never
black,
do enough
though.
LSD. You can never do enough.
And so anyways, yeah, and it was illegal when I was a kid for a black man to marry a white woman or a white guy to marry a black woman. But those laws were okay, weren't they, Andy?
They were fabulous, you know?
Fabulous laws.
Now that we have them repealed, Kanye West is dating a Kardashian.
Yeah. That wouldn't, we couldn't outlaw the weed laws
Tar
like
and
that,
feathering
right? No.
was cool.
We'll pay to make those damn ospreys that can't fly and let them land in poppy crops so our Marines can guard the opium that they ship back here to get you people hooked on. Okay!
Nothing is cooler than a telephone pole with a lynch victim hanging from it.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
just says,
What do
I'm
they call
home.
that? Strange fruit, man.
Yeah,
Remember
exactly.
that song?
Okay, then.
Yeah. And and I had a neighbor one time
America.
who told me he lived down in Mobile, and he told me that none of that stuff ever happened.
No, never did.
Yeah, he thought I was too young to remember it on TV. So I said, George,
The
you kidding me?
T&V.
I saw it on the TV. So you mean all those guys with fire hoses and stuff and spraying them Negroes and letting their dogs bite them? That was all my imagination?
It was totally your imagination.
Well, he says that was up in, Birmingham. That wasn't down in Mobile.
Blacks could walk into any university, sign right up.
Yeah,
no
my
problem.
mama, they vote too, yeah, the poll taxes, literacy laws.
There was some trouble with voting. They let some black people try to vote in Florida in 2000. That was scary.
Oh, yeah,
They
look
were
at,
turned away, thank God, and our president got to be.
and remember the Fox thing where they had some irate black guy in Philly, and they just ran that over and over again, saying, look, there's Black Panthers in Philadelphia.
Yes, there are.
Whoa!
And tigers and heffalumps and bears. and Jerry Sandusky.
So Patty Davis said that Nancy was a tranquilizer act, even though Nancy's saying just say no to drugs and alcohol, and then drop the alcohol, and never mind that the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court was hooked on Placidils, which I don't think they even make anymore because of the high potential for abuse, as they used to say in the black box. But it's okay. There's no hypocrisy there.
No. As long as our Chief Justice is loopy, everything's fine.
Yeah, speaking of Roberts, and under the NID director, William Poland, Reagan ordered Poland to purge any materials that about weed using the word social from 64 publications, even predating the 1973-74 inception of the founding of the NIDA, were blacklisted. They sent letters to every public library saying that they were outdated, ought to be pulled off the shelves, and Reader's Digest issued a 3-part marijuana alert too in their propaganda.
If Reader's Digest says it's bad, you know it's bad. They never lie. They are purists.
Did I ever tell you about my father giving me a subscription to Reader's Digest?
Did you hit him?
After 10 years, I'm all like, Dad, why do you send it? You're the one who's been sending me this? He said, yeah, why? I thought you liked it. I'm there, what are you shitting me? I
Nobody
said,
likes that.
It's the most reactionary crap I've seen. It could have been written by the Chamber of Fascists.
No, they publish more unfunny jokes than
Oh, man. So our people at the National Institute of Drug Abuse went and pulled everything that said anything good about weed, or actually, said that there was nothing wrong with it. They pulled it off the shelves of every library. And guess who funded the DARE program, Andy?
Oh, I'm guessing Satan?
Yeah, damn close. The Sultan of Brunei
Cool.
and the Saudi
a true
royal
American.
family.
A true American family.
And the tobacco, booze, and prescription drug companies.
No, really?
Yeah, you remember that frying egg in the pan
They're
saying,
so
this is your
impartial.
brain,
Oh, that was awesome.
this is your brain on, this is your frying pan, this is your frying pan frying eggs, this is your brain on drugs, some
That was
stupid crap.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Convinced everybody to try that. Like,
Well, see-
I want a sizzle.
Yeah. Remember,
The
you
flat egg not doing nothing, the egg sizzling and happy. Which one do you want to be?
for all you marketing folks out there,
Yeah.
remember, you sell the sizzle, not the shake.
There you go. That's why I think there's still some marijuana around.
No, it's been
3.7
outlawed.
grams.
No.
Almost got into this state.
It's a gateway drug. And then the founder of DARE, one Daryl Gates. You tell us something about Daryl Gates, Andy.
Oh, that boy was a psychopath. We had a riot in L.A. Los Angeles had a riot because of this guy is such a boob.
He was a police chief.
Yeah, he's the chief of police in Los Angeles. He said, I want to take every marijuana addict and hold a gun to their head, and I'll personally shoot them. And check this out, though. Daryl's son didn't do weed. He did everything else he possibly could. His son robbed a sporting goods store to get the guns to go rob a pharmacy. And when he robbed the pharmacy, he sat down on the sidewalk and ate the pills right there, gun in his lap. That's the chief of police's son. That's the kind of, I want you to be more like my son.
Yeah.
Don't be smoking weed and chilling and being calm. No.
Yeah, just go to the
You
drugstore.
need to be a
like the rest
raving
of us.
psychopath. Yeah, and he partied during the LA riots first day. He just ignored it till the place basically almost burned down.
Yeah.
We had to protect our Korean shopkeepers with shotguns because people were losing their minds. There was no one in charge.
Daughter,
Oh yeah, what about her?
remember?
Oh yeah.
It's just as bad as the chief of police's son, the mayor's daughter.
Oh yeah, Tom Bradley's daughter was arrested at least 42 times for angel dust.
PCP,
Yeah.
phenylcyclophenidine, I think they call it.
Good for your horsey if he's having a bad day, but anybody a little bit lighter in the weight, not going to do so good. If you weigh less than 1,000 pounds, stay away from that stuff.
Yeah, angel dust. So, the Sultan of Brunei, the Saudis, the tobacco, booze, and prescription companies, and founded DARE by Daryl Gates, and who said that weed users were treasonous, should be taken outside and shot.
Yeah, except my son, who's a speed freak and a hype,
Yeah.
and violently dangerous. Yeah.
And so, in 1984, we're still stuck in the Reagan years now.
Dare.
In 1984, the NIDA, National Institute of Drug Abuse, Dr. Charles Schuster, was under pressure to find something wrong with weed, and he had 10
Bulky
times
and
the amount.
cumbersome in large amounts.
Yeah, they gave him 10 times the amount of money for to try and find brain damage, and they didn't find any. So, excuse me. Anyways, at that time, they fast-tracked Marinol for the drug companies. And I'll tell you something about Marinol. I had a prescription for it, right?
Sounds dumb.
Oh, the doctor, yeah. Now mind you, in 6th grade, Andy, they asked the whole class when I was a kid. This would have been like 67 or 68 or something. They asked the whole class.
You can't have my chips.
They said the teacher, when Mrs. Wiley went pupil to pupil and said, "What about you? Are you going to do drugs when you grow up?"
Nah,
and
I should've
everybody's
told-
all like, "Oh, no, Mrs. Wiley."
I'm not going to ride a motorcycle or I'm going to be a virgin forever.
Yeah. So she gets to me, and me. I said,
Oops.
I said, as a matter of fact, I'm going to try everything there is, and you know what? The things I like, I'm going to try them twice.
More 3 times.
And lo and behold, here's the lesson, boys and girls. Look around the class next to you, because I can guarantee you, within 10 years, 10% of the kids next to you will be gone. Within 20 years, 30% will be gone. And they just drift away like flies. And most of them from this drug, boys and girls. Most of them are lost to alcohol.
Yep.
And so anyways, they fast-tracked Marinol. They gave me this crap. And, I tried it one day, and it's like nothing happened. I didn't get hungry, nothing happened, right? The next day I took it. It was about 10 o'clock in the morning. I got up, took I ate, and I'm waiting, and it's like, I'm there, wow, I got to sit down. So I go to sit down, and I picked up a guitar, and I went to practice a couple chords. This was at 10 o'clock in the morning. Next thing I know, it's getting dark out.
That must have been a bad drug.
I'm all like, what the hell,
Hell
man?
happened to today.
Yeah.
Oops.
So I said, that's
Listen.
it. You know what? I'll stick with the regular stuff. And you know, and that's another thing. This Marinol costs a damn fortune, and all it is THC, and they can't even get the damn dosage right.
Nope, that would be wrong.
Yeah. And how is it that only in the United States would weed be Schedule 1 with no medicinal value, a high potential for abuse, as high as heroin and lethality and everything, and THC in Marinol isn't, and is classified as a Schedule 3?
Because they're lying about one of them.
Yeah. They couldn't be lying about the Marinol and making that Schedule 3 so that anybody could get it on the street if you got the money. But yet the weed, where the THC comes from, well, plus you get 600 other chemicals and stuff that are beneficial, yet that stuff is Schedule 1 and illegal.
No. The logic of our government.
Yeah. And the Marinol, they found the Marinol had a high incidence of panic attacks.
Oh, well, you want that. You know, nothing says yay like, oh, I might go into a solid panic here. I might start eating my hair.
So you take the Marinol for nausea, and then you have panic attacks. So you go back to the doctor and you get Prozac for the panic attacks. And let's see, and then you're bouncing off trees because of the Prozac, and you can't stay awake. So then the doctor probably give you Ritalin or Adderall because
Xanax.
You're bound to have adult onset ADHD. You just didn't know about it.
And Xanax.
Yeah, well, and then you can't sleep at night because of the Adderall. So then they'll give you either, what's that?
Seconal variation, I'm sure.
Oh, they'll give you that new crap that makes you wonder.
Trazodone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
What's the other stuff that makes you bounce off of stuff? Oh, man.
I think it's all crap. I won't take any of it.
It is. It's all crap. And holy moly, we've already breezed through, what's this, episode 3? And we've only got up to the 1980s.
What?
About 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think, well...
2 minutos más para los gente del inglés.
Yeah. Well,
Okay then, well, we could...
Here's...
Or sale, what? Democracy?
Yeah, we want to tell you that
Cheap.
that's it. For democracy's for sale around here, and you know, and
Cheap. You're a
don't forget-
Satan fan, huh?
that if you rob a bank, you go to jail. But if they rob us, we gotta bail them out, and they can launder drug money too. Just type in HSBC.
They're
And,
too big to fail.
or look up this article, Patty. Thank you. Follow the Dirty Money by Robert Mazur. It's just insane. Because in the old days, Andy, just as short as 10, 20 years ago, they used to actually prosecute people for money laundering.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, go figure.
No.
And I'll run through the studies again.
Florida.
Yeah. I'll run through the studies again. Here we are, Patty. Here we are. Starting with the 1894 India Hemp Commission. No problem with weed, okay? And we'll bring you up to 1944, about 50 years later.
No problem with weed.
Fiorello LaGuardia.
No
Yep,
criminal misconduct.
no problem there. That brings us up to Britain again.
Those darn limeys.
Them
Apparently
damn
nothing
limeys.
wrong with weed.
The 1968 Baroness von Wooten report.
Oh no.
No
I'm a
harmful
royal
effects.
kind of person.
And in 1972, right here under Nixon's nose, the Schaefer Commission, which predated the DEA. by
Nothing
a
wrong
year.
with weed.
No, nothing wrong with weed.
Darn it.
And don't forget the Jamaican infant study that showed that the weed infants actually had a better outcome.
More gold medals per capita than any country on earth forever.
More gold
We'll
medals.
never catch up. Per capita. We have 300 million, they have a few million. They get a lot of gold medals, we get some.
They'll never be able
We
to.
win a gold medal in the Olympics.
Yeah, but they see they'll never win at skiing though.
No. Until they try it.
Until they have a few Jamaicans living up here. So
Well, once again,
once again,
you've squandered your life with
you've squandered your life, and don't forget for your Ishtar dinner. That's right. Have some head.
Yeah, big dick.
Yeah, have some dickhead right here in
dickhead.
the pan. We've got it hot and ready for you. Come get your dick. Your dick's ready. And here's what we think of your anti-weed studies, because none of them are true. Look it up on the interweb if you don't believe me.
Ta-ta.
Deny thyself.